From the last great Coliseum to the tricky triangle, we'll have it all covered for you here on the New Mexico Motorsports Report. I'm Spencer Hill alongside David Swope. Dave, it was a crazy weekend of racing, a lot happening from Thursday all the way through Sunday last week. What was your favorite?
Well, I thought all of the races at Bristol were actually excellent. A lot of things to like and a lot of things to hate. Kyle Busch, of course, he didn't have an opportunity to sweep this year because he didn't run in the truck race, but had a lot of trouble in the Xfinity race, and as it turns out, he had a lot of trouble in the Cup race. We're gonna talk a little bit about some of that, and of course the eye rolls and some of the stuff that goes on with him. But I wanted to find out what you were doing this weekend and let people know what went on in Grants.
Yeah, we actually had a good weekend. It started out on Friday where I get to go over to a concert in Las Cruces down at the NMSU campus. That was a great time, got to visit some friends over there. And then we went over to from Las Cruces, we went over to Grants, New Mexico, and I hopped behind the wheel of the SHR number 4S Micro Sprint over there, and we ended up picking up the win. It wasn't exactly the prettiest win, but we were there the longest, and I guess, you know, to finish first, you first must finish, one of those deals. Jacob Johnson, he ended up blowing a motor early in the race, and then a very scary incident when Robert Turner erupted into flames about halfway through the event on lap 8. It was a scary incident down there in Grants. Luckily, Robert Turner, he was okay, and we were able to continue the event, and I picked up my 5th win of 2018.
Congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Right on. Yeah, I heard there was a little movie crew that was kind of like following you around as well.
Yeah, it's something that's kind of unique this year to Grants. Of course, everybody knows that's been there. Grants is a very small town, small racetrack over there at Uranium Capital Speedway. But I'm not able to share too much info, but they do have a feature film coming soon about dirt track racing and particularly Grants and all the people that race there. So that's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, looking forward to see that. But what was the car count? I mean, it sounded like there was a lot of different classes that ran and stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to bring over the Legends and the mod lights that were scheduled to be there. So we brought in the cruisers and a couple other of the stock car divisions. Micro sprints, we were a little bit light, just 9 cars and making the call down there. It was a great event though. Payout was awesome. Of course, Uranium Capital Speedway, always so good to us, especially in the mini sprint division. The fans love us, and it was a great time. So I really encourage everybody to come out next time.
As a promoter, I have to laugh every time the payout comes up. You know, it's like you guys, but always talk about payout. But let's talk about the Unser Racing Museum event calendar. Take a look at what's going on this weekend. On Saturday, you got Yearwood Street to Strip, and the Southwest Drag Racing Association, also known as SWADRA, is going to have a challenge, and the Mopar Club is going to be running another one of those events. So continue to work on my dart. Eventually, I want to get out there and run with those guys. Looks like the 6-cylinder is probably going to be running first, but gives me a chance to talk my wife into a 360 twin turbo that we're going to put in that 64
You're going to have to
coupe.
do some finessing there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to have to be on my best behavior, so I might as well. I apologize for all the things I've already done this week, so we'll see what's going on next week.
It's better to ask for forgiveness.
Absolutely. But a lot of great things coming up, including next weekend. You got a 2-day event going on out at Albuquerque Dragway, and that's going to be the Labor Day Bash. They're going to have jet cars, the 8.5 Outlaws rods are going to be at that event. But just grabbing some points, update you on the points at Albuquerque Dragway. The McKinney Motor Company Super Pro, Lloyd Salverson, 2,699 points. In the New Science Pro, Ron Rios, 3,025 points. Seduction Sportsman, Anthony Vega, 3,062 points. Torco Race Fuels Junior Dragsters, Patrick Miller, 2,875 points. And a lot of these, you know, are separated by less than a race. So you win a couple of rounds. They got some more, you know, about 5 more races for the season, so there's a chance for people to get some more points. But let's talk a little dirt track here out at Sandia Speedway. Going on Saturday night, you got the Clay Oval Racing starting at 6:30. It's going to be presented by Gallus Chevrolet. It's called the Fall Frenzy. You're going to have, like I said, gates open at 6:30. A lot of different cars are going to be running in that. Also, road racing is going to be going on Saturday and Sunday. Gates open at 8 o'clock. Most of your racing, like a qualifying race on Saturday, typically gets started about 1 o'clock. The final race on Sunday will also typically start about 1 o'clock. Hopefully we'll have a good turnout. Seems like a lot of guys are coming. Coming up later in the show, of course, we're going to have Dan Brockett joining, talking about the Labor Day No Coast Drift event. It's the Ocho, it's the 8th, and so that's going to be coming up as well. But talk a little bit about some of the winners from last week out at Sandia. Bobby Sandy got it done again in the Cruisers in the Hornets division. Decent car count. They had about 10 cars, 7 finished, which is actually pretty good for
especially
cruisers.
for the Cruiser and Hornet
Yeah,
class.
exactly.
Of course, they're known to bang and bump each other up a little bit over there, especially at Sandia Speedway. But It was good to see some car count pick up down there. Of course, Grant's having their races. I know Aztec was running, Las Cruces was running sprint cars, or at least had scheduled to. They got rained out. But good show overall down there. Street Stock Division, Danny Gross Jr. took the win with Rick Bolter second, and David Tanner third. And then let's take a look at the X-Mod Division.
Yeah, X-Mod, you had Danny Gross Jr., Trevor Combs, and Clay Gossett for your top 3 in X-Mods. Once again, 10 cars in that. While Bill Lynch didn't finish, I think he's 70. That guy still gets it done with so much. So it's a shame to see him not finish there, but doing pretty good. Didn't have much of a wing sprint turnout. Just had Dave Burns and Jerry Mosier for that feature, but probably was a big show going on in Cruces.
Yeah, and
weekend.
like I said, Las Cruces running the 305 division down there. A lot of those cars share the same chassis, so it's difficult for them to split the time between Albuquerque and Las Cruces. Las Cruces, it's a much bigger series as far as payout, points championship goes. Drivers, I'm always thinking payout.
We know Sandia doesn't pay anything, so and including when I was there. So I'm not saying anything, Charlie. So don't take any offense to that. But they also had flat track racing, a little bit bigger turnout now that they've got some more consistency. Including, I want to give a shout out to Michael Gayor finishing 5th, and it's got to be one of his first races. But I'm going to work on getting him out, and that was at the New Mexico Dirt Association Modern Division. It had 6 bikes, and in their Vintage Division, they actually had 4 bikes. James Hosier. I always get that mixed up because we've got Mosier, Hosier, all the different drivers. But it was James Mosier on the 69 bike that got that done. But also talking about motocross coming up, September 1st and 2nd, you got round 6 of the Moriarty motocross race coming up. Car shows. Saturday, August 25th, the Rent a Wheel car show in Farmington, and benefiting the Witten Warriors. Now, you know a little bit about the Witten Warriors running out at Grants.
Yeah, Uranium Capital Speedway. The Witten's Warriors project is very special. It's a little boy named Witten, I believe up from northern New Mexico area around Aztec. Of course, benefiting cerebral palsy up there. And just a wonderful organization. The family always so quick to give back to the community too, and the community is so quick to give back to them and the Witten's Warriors organization. Beautiful thing that they're doing up there. I know they race a total racing family, so every time that they can support a racing event too and put their name on it, they're willing to do so.
Well, and I know in the past that's been one of the biggest events at Uranium Capital.
Absolutely.
Also, first annual Fish Fry and Classic car show up in White Rock. So that's a pretty good drive heading up to Las Cruces or Los Alamos anyway. But you can go down and check that out. That's at the White Rock Senior Center on Longview Drive in White Rock. Open to all vintage and classic cars. People's Choice Award of $50. Hey, cash prize for a car show. That's pretty cool. And then the funds go to the Senior Center there. Of course, also listed on the car show, I don't know how in the world he pulled this off, but John Selenas, who's the chief driving instructor, also got a note as a car show. So apparently the Southwest Motorsports also got listed as a car show.
They do it all down there.
Yeah, they do a little bit of everything. But we got a few minutes in the opening segment. I wanted to talk a little bit about the crash with
the crash that rocked everybody this weekend
with Robert Wickens. So let's take a look at that video. It's just horrific.
Yeah, as you could see, Robert Wickens getting into the catch fence there at the Pocono Raceway up in Pennsylvania. Vicious crash just on, I think it was lap 1 or 2 early in the event.
Yeah.
And just totally horrendous to see. Of course, every time you see a car get into the fence, it's
Yeah.
not a good sight. But when it's an Indy car, especially like an open wheel like this one here, it just makes your heart sink even more, Dave.
Well, and I think part of it too is they're built to basically explode the energy, to get the energy away from the cockpit. And as you could see there, it was able to, the cockpit was able to stay intact, but it spun around a lot. Of course, he's had several surgeries, including some surgery on his spine. You were telling me that there were several other parts, leg, hand,
Yeah, I believe I
wrist.
read ankles had injuries and wrists sustained injuries, and then some sort of oral injury as well to Robert Wickens, the number 6. Terrible wreck, and we obviously give our thoughts and prayers over to that team and Robert Wickens' entire family.
Yeah.
We're definitely thinking about you.
Yeah, and it was a dominating performance by Alexander Rossi. I mean, he won that thing going away. Had tightened up the points now that there's only 29 points between him and Scott Dixon. And Scott Dixon looking for his like 5th, 6th, 10th championship. I have no idea. But by the 4th segment, I'm going to know how many championships. But anyway, we got a whole lot more coming up, including some great interviews. You've been watching the New Mexico Motorsports Report here on the Proview Network, Comcast 26.
The Barley Brew, proud sponsor of Proview Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Duke City Sports Bar. Proud supporter of Proview Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. Catch all the sports action from high school, college, pros, and MMA on one of our 35 HD TVs. Start your night off right with any selection from our delicious menu prepared with fresh, never frozen ingredients. Duke City Sports Bar, Albuquerque's newest sports bar. Located on Eubank and Montgomery, dial 505-433-4020.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Locally loved restaurants like Farina Pizzeria, Farina Alto, and the Artichoke Cafe are the perfect venue for your next event. Farina Alto has traditional Italian food, plus handcrafted cocktails in a beautiful Northeast Heights location. Farina Pizzeria with a downtown vibe, amazing affordable wines, and local beer. And the Artichoke Cafe has set the standard for casual fine dining since 1989. Visit our family of restaurants and see what fine dining is all about.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all, or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
For 55 years, people have bought trucks from Tillery in Los Lunas. We have a great selection of vehicles, the quality service department, and some of the best deals in the state. But most importantly, we found people prefer to buy trucks from people who actually drive trucks.
Tillery is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Locally owned and operated, located in Los Lunas, right off I-25, exit 203. Hey everyone, Adam Deal here with Proview Networks. Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of Proview Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean. Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Welcome back to the New Mexico Motorsports Report here on Proview Network. Now I want to introduce a very special guest to us here on the New Mexico Motorsports Report. A young quarter midget driver for Cox Motorsports, Kaleb Cox. Kaleb, how you doing today?
Good.
Good. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. I see we have some souvenirs over here that you brought with you. Those are pretty cool. Those are some of the nicest trophies I've seen in a long, long time. Is there one of these that is a little bit more special than the rest?
I kind of think that this one's a little bit more special because it's the one where I got from my home track.
Okay.
Awesome.
And that's the Duel in the Desert trophy for the Western Regional Series. Very cool. And what happened in that race exactly? Can you walk us through a little bit about some of the stuff that happened during that event?
I was able to place third, and it was a really hard race. There was a ton of people. There was about 100?
Wow.
People or something.
That's fantastic.
There was a lot of people. It was a big turnout.
So really challenging to place that well in that big of an event. And so the cars that you're racing are quarter midgets. For a lot of people that don't understand, quarter midgets are basically, it's in the name, it's the quarter size of a full midget chassis, and you guys have a couple different classes, and you're about to start your third class. Currently, right now, you run the Senior Honda, Senior Animal, and now you're about to start the Light 160 class in a couple weeks. So are you excited to run that?
Yeah.
Very cool. You've had a very successful year so far, at least here locally that I've seen, picking up 5 wins and 13 top 10s. 5 wins so far. What does it mean to be that successful? And we're only here at the end of summer.
Well, it's just fun. The race.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, man. I mean, it's fun to go out there and do what you do. Of course, quarter midget tracks, known for being really, really small. Do you like that they're that small?
Yeah, they're pretty easy to go around. It's not that long.
You're able to go ahead, Dick.
What's the key to quarter midget racing? I mean, do you try out there and not use your brake at all, or?
Well, it's kind of just go out, have fun, do whatever.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever get frustrated out driving?
Sometimes.
Do you have an arch nemesis? Do you have a guy that, no? Well, that's great.
No rivals on the track?
Because I thought before you told me that your favorite driver was Kyle Busch.
Yes.
See, nobody likes Kyle Busch, though.
Kyle Busch, he has a lot of rivals out there on the track, so I would think that if that's your favorite driver, maybe you'd have a couple rivals, but that's good. It's good not to have any enemies like that. Here's Kyle Busch here up on the TV, of course, NASCAR Cup Series champion up there. And he started in a very similar path as you. I'm not exactly sure if he ran go-karts or quarter midgets first, but the next step after that for him was legend cars. I know there's a lot of different things that you can step into after quarter midgets, but what do you have your eyes set on?
Either NASCAR or Indy.
NASCAR or Indy? There you go. Those are two pretty different.
What about World of Outlaws? You thought about doing some sprint car racing?
Probably I'm going to do sprint car after quarter midgets. I might go quarter midgets, sprint cars, mini sprints, big sprints.
Awesome.
So that's a path just like mine. I like hearing that out of you. Mini sprints, very fun division. You're just probably a couple years out of that ride. How old are you?
9.
9 years old? Wow. So you got a very early start into racing. When I first started my racing, I stepped into a go-kart for the first time at the age of 8. So you're way ahead of the ball game right now. And with as many wins as you have right now and these beautiful trophies that you brought us, there's no doubt about it that you're going to end up here in a mini sprint and then obviously a sprint car pretty soon, I would say.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We've got some pictures that you brought along. Maybe we can put up there, and you can kind of walk through what's going on. So Dana, if you can toss some of those pictures up there. There you go. Oh, that one's a little out of focus. Wow. So
that one's at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, of course.
Wow.
Even though you're young, you understand the history behind Indianapolis. What did it mean to be out there?
It was just fun.
Just a fun time out there?
Fun's his answer to everything. That's
good. That's what I like to hear. If you're not having fun, there's no reason to be doing it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean.
And then here you are, kissing the bricks. That's something that I've always wanted to do,
I've never
Kaleb.
gotten to do that either.
So when you were out there, it was obviously for racing, since you have your race suit on. What event was that out there?
That was the Brickyard.
That was the little Brickyard out there?
National.
The Nationals?
Cool.
Very cool. I have a friend that actually ran out there when he was your age too, Jason Irwin. He ran quarter midgets for a long, long time, so I get to see all of his trophies. And man, you're collecting a house full of your own over here too. That's very cool. Up here on the TV, here's from the Central Series, of course, with USAC, and that's at Little Elko. And can you tell us a little bit about this picture and what that was all about?
I was racing in Elko Motor Speedway. I actually have a trophy right here.
Oh, there you go. That is from Elko, from the Senior Animal Division, second place.
Oh,
there it goes.
Luckily, it's a plaque and not a big tall one that is super breakable.
It's all good. It's not a party till something gets broken. So
yeah,
we're all good. What was the shape of that? What was the shape of that state?
Elko.
What is it? Indiana?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Oh, Minnesota? You went all the way to
work
Minnesota?
on your geography,
dude. I'm a race car driver. You know, I do radio. I don't have to think. So I just go on instinct. But yeah, wow.
Wow, that is very cool. Beautiful trophy.
We're gonna try seeing if we can get more of them and try actually making like a whole entire like state or something.
Yeah, you think you could put them all together and make a shape of the United States?
That'd be pretty special.
That would be
That's
pretty,
something that not a lot of people
awesome.
could say that they've ever done. I don't think anybody's ever done that, to be honest with you.
No, that's
so
fantastic.
That'd be a heck of a feat.
Oh, and then are you standing on top of the quarter midget there?
Yes.
Awesome.
So do you have different cars for the different divisions that you run, Kaleb, or is it just one car that you run in the same class?
No, you have individual cars with and different motors, different plates, different everything.
So how many cars do you guys have in your stable?
3 right now.
Okay. Very cool. Are you working on getting a 4th one, or are you guys pretty happy with?
We just got a 3rd one.
Okay, so we're gonna keep it at 3 for now. I like that idea.
Do you have like a big trailer then?
No.
No?
Well, not really.
No, it's not big.
It's probably as big as this room, maybe.
Well, that's a pretty big trailer.
That's a Penske-sized trailer right there. Well, that's fantastic. But talk a little bit about how much your family's involved in this. I mean, your parents probably spend a lot of time doing this.
My parents really helped me a lot. They like clean the tires off. They push me off during races. It's just really, if you want to hang out with your family and stuff, you should start Quarter Midgets. You just hang out with your families every race.
And that's really special too, to be able to spend every weekend with your family doing something you love. I know that's why I started doing it, so it's really good to hear that from you. With your family, do they travel to all these different states with you too, or is it usually just like you and your dad?
Most of the while. Most of the time.
They try to make it out to most of them too, though? That's good.
The first race I ever did, it was actually not even in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was in San Antonio.
Wow, over in Texas. That's crazy. So you made your debut out of state. That's something that's got to be a little bit intimidating at first. I know that would make me super nervous. Back when I was doing karts, every time I saw a regional or a national event, it was just butterflies everywhere. Do you get nervous before races?
Yes, especially if it's like Kobe Sokol, Justice Sokol, Daytona, Chase, all of them. They're really good racers. They've been racing for a long time.
I love the long time, right?
Yeah,
like
for a long time.
Like a year.
Way longer.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, I'm old, so.
Dave's old. He doesn't even know where he's at right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm not even sure. Exactly.
We can't worry about him too much. Well, that's really cool. When's your next race going to be?
Actually, it's next week.
Next week? Do you know where?
Austin.
Austin.
Oh, wow.
Wow, so a little bit more traveling in your schedule coming up.
We've actually been gone for now a month and a half.
Wow.
Wow. That's crazy. That is like a World of Outlaws or a NASCAR schedule right there. So I'm glad you're able to go to all these places and experience all that. If people wanted to kind of keep up to date with what you guys have going on, is there a way to do that?
Yes, we actually have a Facebook page.
Oh, really? Okay. What's the Facebook page called?
Cox Motor Speedway?
Cox Motorsports?
Cox Motorsports.
Okay, so if you're on Facebook, go ahead and go to Cox Motorsports to keep up with all that they have going on. Kaleb, we're all out of time for this segment, but I wanted to thank you so much for coming on and showing us your cool trophies and talking to us a little bit about what you have going on with the quarter midget race. And good luck next week. And we want to hear how you do, so you're going to have to come back on soon, okay?
Yep.
You've been watching the New Mexico Motorsports Report here on the Proview Network, Comcast 26.
Nothing completes a trip downtown like a visit to Lindy's Cafe. You won't find a more relaxing restaurant to unwind at. Located on 5th and Central, proud supporters of Proview Networks, Lindy's strives to be a friendly and welcoming place.
Lindy's, a great place to be seen. The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Gecko's Bar and Tapas, a proud supporter of Proview Networks. It's been a fan favorite spot for food lovers and sports fans. With not one, but two great locations, including outdoor patio, an atmosphere you won't want to miss. Gecko's, off Academy and in Nob Hill.
Hoops NM Basketball Center is coming soon. 10 full courts broken into 2 wings for ultimate basketball and volleyball play. Locker rooms, a lounge area, a pro shop, and a full snack bar will all be a part of a great experience. Convenient parking and access will make the Hoops NM Basketball Center a premier facility for league play and competitive regional tournaments. With over 9,000 square feet, Hoops NM Basketball Center will take court sports play to another level in our community. Courts are regulation high school size with wood floors and seating for approximately 350 per court. Major sponsors and supporters are being assembled now. If you're interested, contact Dan Serrano at 505-249-7994. Send him an email, hoopsnm@aol.com. That's hoopsnm@aol.com. Hoops NM Basketball Center, a premier sports facility serving our community.
Carmody Medical provides solutions for your everyday needs. Hot and cold compression wraps provide therapeutic compression for the shoulder, hip, and knee. The therapy wraps are constructed of an insulated outer fabric and a ventilated cotton pocket to protect the body. Elastic belts allow mobility and deliver a gentle, adjustable compression. The reusable therapy packs can be removed from the pouch and placed into the freezer. Contact Jim for more information.
Welcome back to the New Mexico Motorsports Report here on the Proview Network. And of course, I'm not sure it was a good idea to necessarily have Dan Brockett back here, but we got to do it because this Memorial Day weekend coming up, just 1 week out, is the Ocho. It is the No Coast Drift. Welcome back, Dan. You just got back into town, man.
It's like I was just here a year ago.
Well, talk about the Ocho, man. First, can you believe it's in 8 years? And then what can you possibly do to top last year?
I cannot believe that we have destroyed the Speedway for the 8th year.
Well, how much? You still owe him some money. So how many more of these is going to go on?
I always owe them money.
Every year it ends up being more?
That's just a continuous thing.
Yeah, and every year something else happens to add to that. Last year was the first time a fire truck came. The prison called a wildfire in because our bonfire was a little too big last year.
Oh my.
So that was good. We're gonna try to one up that. We've got double the pallets. So we're going to try to get a helicopter. I don't know what we're going to try to do, but it's going to be outstanding.
So talk a little bit about it. I mean, it's a 3-day event.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about how it gets started, some of the things, and I'm going to let you announce the new event that you've added to it.
That's right. So this basically started as a way for me to pay back the Speedway for letting us run my debt of drift events all season. We had like 10 to 12 drivers per event. It wasn't quite cutting the grade for making enough money to pay for the event. So at the end of the season, I ended up owing like 12 grand. And I was like, okay, well, I can't pay for that. So I ended up making a bash event. This is a very true story. I owed a lot of money, and it was either, hey, you got to do something, or you're never going to do this again. So came up with a bash event, and we called it the No Coast Drift Party, obviously because New Mexico has no coast. We just have lots of beach.
Right.
So that's how No Coast started, and then it's kind of gradually grown and become kind of a nationwide thing now. We have, last year was our highest driver count ever. We had 72 drivers overall.
Wow.
This year we had 78 that pre-registered.
Right.
So we're probably going to get another 20 or 30 drivers on top of that register the day of.
Century mark, probably.
Yeah, I think we could probably hit 100 drivers this year, which would be, wow.
For people that have never been to this event, what can you expect walking in?
You can't expect any. There's no.
We walked into that one. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no expectations. You just have to go with an open mind. It's kind of like Burning Man mixed with cars, mixed with.
That's a great shot.
That's what you look like when you're watching what's happening at No Coast.
That's what a mind blown looks like.
That's exactly the face that you have when you're like, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that just happened. This year is going to be our 8th one, so we named it the Ocho, kind of a play on Dodgeball, the movie where they had ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to actually have Dodgeball this year.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, and it turns out dodgeballs are really expensive. I had to buy a bunch of them. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're legit.
They're just gone over to APS and borrowed all you want.
I wish I could have borrowed some. would have been cheaper, but I got on Amazon and bought the real deal. So,
You're
and they're
going
neon
legit.
yellow.
You're finally going legit.
I went on the Naira circuit. I got legit.
You actually put down some green.
I
Wow.
did. You know, I had a little bit of budget this year, like
so are you
50 or 60 bucks.
$50,000 in debt now?
I'm getting pretty close
Because every
to
year
that.
it gets worse. But we got some other drift pictures here, so we can show some of the. So
Hey.
that's drift right there. Is talk a little bit about
that is drift.
Yeah,
That is
talk
drift.
about the art of drift.
It is everything that you're not supposed to do in a car, and everything that really makes driving fun. Every time you're in the rain and you kick it out a little bit, and you're like, "Oh, that's great," and you didn't crash, that's drifting. So we do that as a sport. I guess it's more like figure skating.
Yep.
Or there's that.
Well,
too.
yeah, and there's so talk about your other persona. I mean, that's Officer Dan.
So that's Officer Dan. Officer Dan comes out usually on camera, but not this time. I don't have my mustache on. I'm sorry, I forgot it.
Right.
But Officer Dan is a character that I play in a bunch of YouTube videos that we made, and he's been to Japan and Australia and done all sorts of weird stuff. I was just doing something with Dale Earnhardt Jr. actually, and Officer Dan was there doing burnouts. And
Really?
So that was,
as your character?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you tell us anything
tell
about
us
it? Or is
I
it- is
can't
it
yet,
coming-
and it's
okay.
because the
coming
video's
up.
not out yet. So
All
it's
right.
going to be on Donut Media. There's their
Okay.
thing, and they do this show called Science Garage, and they're doing a thing all about Goodyear tires. And so one of the tests was 2 different burnouts on 2 different types of tires to see what it was. And Dale was there and had a good time. So it was a fun project. So keep an eye out for that one.
Can you talk about the Andretti?
So we went out actually, and we filmed at an Indy race. With Donut, and we got to bring a YouTuber. His name's TJ Hunt, and he got to do like the parade laps with Mario in the 2-seater, and
Awesome.
we were in the pickup truck that was in front of all of the other drivers. So we were waving at the crowd, and as we were driving back through the pits, people were like, "Who's that?" So it was great.
Wait a minute. I thought that was Andretti. You just went NASCAR on me right there.
Yeah, that's.
Or do you just use that accent for all?
Well, it was
nationalities?
in Ohio, so there was a lot of that there.
Oh.
That covers almost everything. In Ohio,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
Awesome track though.
Yeah.
Love to do some skid racing out there, but sometimes you don't get to.
So the series of motorcycle drift, we've actually got a shot of Nick here, or me, my brain exploding basically in that picture. Hey Dana, can you throw up the picture with the motorcycle? There you go.
There he is.
That's Nick, and of course that was in 2, right?
Yeah,
So
that
that's
was
when
in the
you guys-
second one that we did. Nick actually crashed in the same spot that I did in that video.
Now, was that the test, or is that the actual video? Because I know
that was
you rolled a car.
Yeah, I did it afterwards. After I was like, all right, sweet, we're done. And then I got in my car, drove a different car, and then I wrecked my car.
So now I did not know it was post production.
Yeah, it was totally wrapped. Everything was done. We'd finished filming. I
So
was
we're in
driving
the
Jim
clear.
Guthrie's Mustang because
Yeah.
I didn't want to crash that because I can't afford to replace
Right.
it. I don't want to be in debt to 2 different people at the same time.
Right.
But so I was taking Ernie on a ride. I ran out of tires on the Mustang because it was on really wide tires, and my car had really skinny tires. And the same turn that I'd done 50 times. Anyway, I wiped out and I flipped over.
So if you watch the video, there's right at the end.
Yes, stay
there's
tuned
actually
at the end.
The camera. You could see the.
Yeah, it was my GoPro. Didn't ruin it. Head went out the window. Got a concussion coming back in on the roll cage. It was a good time.
So we had Scotty. Actually, here's a picture of we had Scotty on last week, and he was talking about how he basically wasn't going to get any sleep last weekend. Is the car ready to go? You guys ready?
Not that one. So
okay.
At my last event that I just went through, my clutch exploded. It blew up my bell housing into 500 pieces. It smashed my headers flat against the frame rails.
Wow.
It sliced my brake lines. A piece of the bell housing went up, hit a fuel line, caught on fire. Insult to injury. Bent my chassis. It broke my diff, and it broke both my axles. So basically, I have a rolling shell, but I have a 350Z, so I'm fine.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's not going to buff out.
No. We just kept taking it apart, and there was more and
It just
more
got
stuff
worse and
wrong.
worse and
I was
worse
just like,
every-
this is not even happening
With
right
every
now.
bolt, it just became
It
worse.
was a nightmare, and it was all. I used an adapter to use a 350Z transmission on my LS motor. and the adapter wasn't right.
So Dana, yeah, go back to that picture. So for those of you that are trying to understand drift, I think this is a good example of what a clipping point is.
Yeah, that would be considered an outer zone. They put a mark here and a mark there, and then they say, we want you to drag your bumper across that section of the wall every single time. Or they want you to drag your front bumper across a cone every single time. And so it's such a strange motorsport because it is like figure skating and it's judged. So there's some iffy calls and there's a lot of drama involved, but we love it.
Well, and the smoke show.
Yeah, and the smoke show.
You got to get the crowd fired up.
It's exciting.
So when you tandem, I was just thinking, looking at that picture. When you tandem, is there also clipping points in tandem, or is that just for the lead car?
100%. Yeah, it's for the lead car. So if you're following and you happen to hit a clipping point, then it's not going to fault you. But if you're leading and you hit a clipping point, then it's going to fault you because you can absolutely see. As the follow car, you're usually right next to the other car, and there's lots of smoke, and you can't see anything. So whatever's whatever. As long as you're close to the guy and then you transition and get right back on his door, it's fair game course-wise.
For people that don't know, how does the judging exactly work? Like, what makes close to a perfect score?
Lots of money, man. You give that judge an envelope full of 50s, you're going to win.
And then you're good. You're good to go.
Every time. No, the judges have a meeting before each race at each course that you go to, wherever you're doing it, and this is amateur all the way up to pro. They define the course, and then they tell you exactly what they want to see from the course. They say, this is a slowdown zone. This is an acceleration zone. You should not be hitting your brakes here. This is outer zone 1, 2, 3, 4. And they assign point values to each section. And then they have the 3 judges that look for different things in each section. So there's a speed judge, there's an angle judge, and then there's like a line and style judge.
That's interesting.
And so then they combine all their scores in your qualification run. And then they make their top 32 bracket, and then that's when you start doing tandem battles all the way down until you get to your number 1.
But there's ways to get disqualified too.
Absolutely, yeah. If you put 2 tires off, you get zeros. If you make unnecessary contact, like they want you to hit the other car, but if you hit the other car and make him move, then you lose points.
Gotcha.
For that. So there's a couple of things.
Yeah.
And other than that, it's an unlimited engine, so you can do whatever you want. There's dudes with 1,500 horsepower competing with dudes with 600 horsepower.
Wow.
Chassis, very limited. You can't modify anything from strut tower to strut tower. Anything forward and backwards of that, you can modify. But the chassis has to remain perfectly stock. And then you have to have the same suspension pickup points as the factory. So no tube fronts, no craziness that didn't come from the factory. So it really is kind of an equalizer. And then they have tire width rules for how much the car weighs and other ways to kind of minimize the drag race effect that they have.
Interesting.
So if people wanted to, do they just come out at this point, pay at the gate? I mean, can you still register?
The pre-registration for driving is over. But you still can pay at the gate. If you did want to come out and try to drift, if you got a rear-wheel drive car or even a front-wheel drive car, get some trays from Dion's and let it eat. But yeah, come out. You can drive. You can watch. It's technically a 3-day event because we kind of start on Friday, and most of the guys it's roll in on Friday. We all camp and party a little bit on Friday, and then Saturday we drive all day. There's team tandem, which is more than 2 cars. So guys will set up a team of 3 to however many other people they want, and then they compete to see who as a team can do the best runs together.
Wow.
So that's going to be Saturday night. Then after that's going to be dodgeball and metal bands at the same time, which is going to be pretty epic. Nothing like getting hit in the face with a ball while somebody's screaming at you.
Good combo.
Pretty excited about that because I'm going to be judging, and it's going to be great.
There's judging in dodgeball?
Oh yeah, we're going to have line judges.
All weekend.
I got.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody's getting judged
Okay.
at No Coast Drift Party 8, the Ocho.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dan. Appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure.
I guess your invitation for next year is already extended.
Hey, I'll be here.
Go ahead and mark your calendars.
I'll be here.
We got a whole lot more coming up, including we're going to talk about the National Series. You've been watching the New Mexico Motorsports Report here on the Proview Network, Comcast 26.
Proview Network crew, assemble!
High school sports are back live on Proview Sports Network.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
For 55 years, people have bought trucks from Tillery in Los Lunas. We have a great selection of vehicles, the quality service department, and some of the best deals in the state. But most importantly, we found people prefer to buy trucks from people who actually drive trucks.
Tillery is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Locally owned and operated, located in Los Lunas, right off I-25, exit 203.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales. The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Hey everyone, Adam Deal here with Proview Networks. Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of Proview Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
Oh, welcome back to the New Mexico Motorsports Report here on the Proview Network. So you even told me I was going to come back, but
I thought we were on the same page.
Yeah,
it's apparently a little bit different.
It's all good, but see, whenever Dan is here, it just gets crazy.
Yeah, everything that you thought you had going on just goes out the window.
Absolutely. So one thing I did want to mention that we didn't get to mention with Kaleb Cox is coming up on September 15th and 16th. They've got one of their races out at Sandia Speedway. And of course, on October 5th, I can't believe this. This is the 20th annual Balloon Classic out there.
Yeah, such a cool event out there.
They get like 60 quarter midgets from all over the country that come out.
Of course, the Balloon Classic, just historic here in the Albuquerque area. Been going on now for 20 years. Gets bigger and bigger every year, it seems. It's just an incredible event, not only for the families, but also for any fans that want to see some young drivers who are going to be tomorrow's future.
Absolutely. So let's look at the national event calendar. International event calendar. Of course, we're going to talk some trucks. Johnny Sauter got it done, and of course, still has the points lead. Now has 5 victories on the season. Brett Moffitt, Noah Gregson, and Ben Rhodes all locked in. Justin Haley. As a matter of fact, they're locked in now. The top 8 are all locked in. Matter of fact, yeah. Let's go to the I can't see it from there. Is that?
Yeah, so we have the this is the race results now for IndyCar, who were at Pocono Raceway this past weekend. Alexander Rossi, of course, dominating fashion there in the Napa number 27, Will Power second, Scott Dixon third, and there you can read out the rest of the top 10. Now switching over to the point standings for the Verizon IndyCar Series, Scott Dixon still very much so in the lead right there, with Alexander Rossi sitting in second, Joseph Newgarden third, Will Power, Ryan Hunter-Reay all right there in the top 5.
And they're going to Gateway, and of course last year Joseph Newgarden won in dominating fashion. Rossi's 29 points back right now, and there's still an outside chance to catch him, but there's only 3 races left.
Yeah,
so
time's running out. If
really
anything's going to happen, if there's going to be any movement, it needs to happen immediately.
Absolutely. So let's pull back up the event calendar. So the Camping World Trucks, we talked a little bit about that. I mean, do we want to take a look at those points?
Yeah, why don't we take a look at the Camping World Truck Series, of course, coming off of Bristol was the last time that you were with us. Here's the race results. Johnny Sauter picking up the win in that. Stuart Friesen second. John Hunter Nemechek third. Had the lead, lost it with a couple laps to go with a fuel pickup issue. Bristol Motor Speedway, always a very, very important race for these trucks, even more so with the point standings that we'll take a look at now. Johnny Sauter, Brett Moffitt, Noah Gregson, Ben Rhodes, Stuart Friesen, Grant Enfinger, Justin Haley, and Matt Crafton. That is your 8 playoff drivers that are going to go for the championship here as we move forward to Homestead.
Well, you take a look at that group. I mean, do you think it's Johnny Sauter's to lose? I mean, go back-to-back championships, or do you see somebody else in that group like a Ben Rhodes or a Noah Gregson getting a run? And I keep discounting Moffitt. I really do. It was a dominating win a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think you have to keep your eye on Moffitt. I think Moffitt's going to be a force to be reckoned with for the rest of the season. Matt Crafton, although he has not gotten a win since Eldora last year, he's going to be fast here as we go into the final stretch. They always find a stride there late. And then Johnny Sauter, you can never count out that number 21 group.
Yeah, and he's got 5 victories on the season. Let's talk about Xfinity. Last week, of course, Kyle Larson getting the victory. Another a Cup driver. It's quite a battle that was going on there. Christopher Bell with a heck of a run. Yeah,
Christopher Bell doing a great job with that Gibbs number 20 Toyota. Justin Allgaier, he finished in the 3rd position. Here's a picture of Kyle Larson. His first win at Bristol, believe it or not. His favorite track. First win over there. Cole Custer, Joey Logano, Elliott Sadler, Michael Annett, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, and Matt Tifft rounding out your top 10. A lot of bow ties there in the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely, which is interesting because you wonder when the bow ties get it figured out, the Camaros get it figured out on the Cup side, what that's going to look like. So we got a couple more races left in Xfinity before we go to their playoffs. Right now you got Christopher Bell still leading in the points with 4 victories. Justin Allgaier, 3 victories. Tyler Reddick with 1. When you look at that group, as we start to get Ross Chastain still in on the 12, Michael Annett on the border. I mean, where do you see that playing out? Is there somebody that needs to watch it, and is someone else going to jump up, or what's your thoughts as we head down the stretch?
Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm impressed with a driver of the number 12, 22, 60, whatever car he's in that week. Austin Cindric, he did a great job. There was a point here just a couple weeks ago where he was outside of that top 12. He is now well inside of the top 12, and in my opinion, he is going to make the playoffs as we sit. So that driver, I think he's in. Ross Chastain, he has a little bit of work to do now, but I think he's also going to hit a stride here in a couple weeks. We have some road courses coming up. We have a lot of unique tracks. I think he is going to be able to be a surprise here.
There's a 40-point differential there, so get one more race, get it, walk away with, at least another, 25-point differential. As we get closer, it's impossible to make it up. I mean, Ross Chastain would have to have a real problem. Ryan Reed is another, 40, 50 points ahead of Chastain, so he's probably okay. So Chastain's the one that's got to keep an eye on it. Well, let's talk some Cup, of course. Bristol, I mean, what a race.
Yeah, how about the driver of the Monster Energy Ford, number 41, Kurt Busch,
right.
Getting a very important win, I think, Dave.
Right. Well, absolutely. I mean, you could almost see the relief on his face. He wanted it for the team. As a matter of fact, I mean, he drove off with his helmet, on the roof, and didn't even realize he did it. But a tremendous race. Kyle Larson, we thought, that he was the odds-on favorite to win. He had to battle back to finish second like that. Chase Elliott, excellent. Joey Logano, Eric Jones, who's just been tremendous on those short track.
And then we see a driver like Clint Boyer here, finishing in the 6th position. Been strong in the short tracks this year. Again, posting a strong finish with that Stuart Haas Racing number 14. Rounding out the top 10 here, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick. Is there any surprises to you when you see that top 10?
Well, really for me, Clint Boyer, Ryan Blaney was my pick to win that race. Statistically, he has been, in the last 5 races at Bristol, has been one to watch. Of course, contact and some other, actually for him to battle back to 7th was pretty amazing. Other than that, Kevin Harvick being in 10th is a little odd when you consider how dominant they've been with 7 victories on the season. Is there one that jumps out to you?
I feel like all those drivers were running there after the chaos occurred on lap 2 with Kyle Busch losing control of his vehicle. He almost came back and finished well inside the top 3. So to see him doing so well after that damage, it just kind of makes you think, what if?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's an amazing driver, no doubt. So when we look at the points, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, of course, the cream of the crop, and then Martin Truex, rounds out what the big 3 they're calling them this season. Then you got Clint Boyer with 2, and then a whole bunch of drivers with 1. And Austin Dillon's actually looked a little bit better. I gave him a hard time about what he'd had, but when you look at the cutoff, Alex Bowman continues to get more and more solid. If somebody from the outside jumps up, from the 17 on back, jumps up and get a victory, he's going to be in trouble. So I think that they really got 3 more races. They got to look at it. Imagine
I just don't
he gets
see
a
it
victory.
happening, though. Unfortunately, for those drivers that are outside looking in right now, drivers like Ricky Stenhouse. The best track for him was probably Bristol. You gotta look at it like that.
Yeah.
And then you look at other drivers. Paul Menard, he has maybe some potential at Darlington, something like that. But to me, I feel like our top 16 is probably locked in as it is.
Well, and you're probably right. We've got Darlington, and then we've got the Brickyard. And so you look at both of those tracks, and neither one of them is a driver specialty that's going to come into that. William Byron has had a good run. Daniel Suarez has had a good run, but probably not going to make it. But one thing I did want to talk about with just a few minutes that we have left is the whole Kyle Busch incident. With the fan and heckling him, and I think that he lives for the heckling. I think that he really feeds on that. As a matter of fact, the eye rolls and everything. Sometimes it goes a little too far. But we had a fan actually throw an object at him and hit him, and at that point, I think that you do have to stand your ground. Has anything like that ever happened to you in the pits? Where people just get up in your face? Family members of another driver or anything like that?
The family members part, yes. Fans, not so much. Usually, the fans let us drivers kind of play it out, especially since we're on more of a local short track type level. But the fans are one thing. Family, that's been a different story, because I've had family members come up and literally try to fight me. And it just makes me laugh, because they have no control over anything that happens inside that race car. So to me, it's just kind of ridiculous. Same with fans. Let us do what we do. You guys just enjoy it or hate it, whatever you want to do, but don't approach the drivers in a threatening manner like that.
Well, and for the most part, in most tracks that doesn't happen. Bristol, they use the same tunnel for the drivers and the fans coming from the infield. And so that could be part of it. I would really hate to see something like this end up hurting NASCAR and hurting the fan experience, because that's the one thing that I think that NASCAR brings to the table that a lot of the other tracks don't. But so what do you think? You get to make sure check out the Ocho, or are you going to go to the track this weekend?
apparently we have a lot of different things going on this weekend,
Right.
so I'm going to have to choose one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to choose one. We have so many cool things happening.
Right.
But I'm sure you guys will hear about it on the radio show Saturday for sure.
Absolutely. And of course, you can always go to nmmotorsportsreport.com. Check it all out. All kinds of things are going. We didn't even get to talk about BK Racing being sold. But tune in next week on the New Mexico Motorsports Report here on the Proview Network, Comcast 26.